guys. So, um, affirmation for today is I am a strong and capable person. So, somebody out there that isn't feeling quite so strong, maybe feeling kind of weak, maybe they're getting their sea legs. Oh, God. Sorry. They're getting their sea legs or something. Um, they need this affirmation. And usually this comes about when I must have spilled tea on my table because there's tea everywhere. I didn't realize it. So anyway, when you're feeling like you can't deal with something, when you feel like there's too much to do or too many things to do. Too many things to do, just focus on one thing. Focus on the most important thing and move forward from there. So if you have too many things to do, take the most important item, do it, focus on just it. Don't worry about any of the other stuff. Then take the next thing, the next most important thing. Once you get that one done, take the next most important thing and you get that done. And you just keep going until one day you look up and everything is caught up. All the important stuff was done early and you're golden. And recite this affirmation as often as possible. I am strong, capable person. Put that there. The self-care card for today is truth. Tell the truth. Integrity is the key to living an authentic life. And you know, not only is it the key to living an authentic life, it sure makes things easier when you're just truthful, when you're just freaking honest with what is going on and what you're thinking, what you're doing, and seriously, just make your life as simple as possible. Whatever you feel is okay for how you feel. The only time things are not okay is when you lie. You lie about what's going on or you lie about how you feel. Then that's when things get messy. That's when things become a problem. So just be honest. Be truthful. Archangel Uriel is the angel message of the day. A tremendous transformation is occurring in our life and in our world. Heaven and earth are uniting. Spirit and matter are working as one. Your heart and mind are balanced, living and loving in harmony. That is a really good, actually there's like two or three good positive affirmations in there. Spirit and matter are working as one. Tremendous transformation is occurring in your life and in our world, and your heart and mind are balanced and living and loving in harmony. Yeah, bunches of them. The word for the day is abundance. So I accept and expect lavish abundance in my life. That is the one I always use for abundance, but abundance can mean just having an abundant mindset. Instead of seeing things as, almost empty, see them as almost full. Instead of seeing something as, mean or, I don't know, not mean, instead of seeing something as, you know, one way, turn it around and see it as the other. Glass half empty, glass half full. You know, that type of thinking. If you think the glass is half empty, then that is not necessarily negative thinking, but it isn't positive thinking. It isn't abundant thinking. If you think of it as the glass is half full, then that's abundant thinking. That is, and that's what you want to do with pretty much everything. You want to, you know, instead of seeing your gas tank on half full and thinking, oh my God, I'm almost out, think of it as, oh, I still have a half tank to go. Or, you know what I mean? Like, just throughout your day, throughout, you know, the time, instead of thinking, oh, I'm almost out of deodorant, think, oh, I've got half a deodorant left. I need to get some. But, you know, think about everything in an abundant way, not a lacking way. Yeah, lacking, that was the word. And I gotta tell you, my guides are really liking these angelariums. Oracle of Emanations, Angelarium. I do carry these in my store, so if you want them, you can find them there. The card for today is Keter, the crown, spirituality. And if you look on the Tree of Life, here is top, Keter at the very top. Yeah. And crown says, it's a pretty wicked looking angel. Okay, Keter says, this is the crown, spirituality, the first emanation, the first utterance, the font of energy through which En Sof emanates into the universe. The crown sits above the head and embodies that which is beyond our comprehension. One must envision Keter not as an object that can be perceived, but as the light that is cast upon it. Keter's light is beyond knowability, a timeless expanse of pure consciousness. Only through respect for our own limitations do we begin to see the shadow of its nature. It is the dark orb beyond which lies the infinite. At the highest point on the tree, all continuums cascade downward from it. Keter stands in contrast to Malkuth, who rests at the very bottom of the tree. The span that lies between them measures the complete distance from the most spiritual to the most physical aspects of our existence. Journeying downward from this point, all other emanations become increasingly close to our present experience. Found in spiritual epiphany, faith, and humility. Yeah. And there was something, so the crown chakra is the top of the head. And that is the, I think, white. Sometimes they signify it as a violet color. But I think it's supposed to be white or violet, either one. And that is our connection to the divine. That is the top. So you've got the root that starts at your spine, the bottom of your spine, and it goes all the way up to the crown. So that is your highest upper chakra. Okay, so this read, I have no idea. I have no idea. No, I think, before I dig into it, the only thing that I've done is laid out the spread, and I did look at one king that came up. And I believe that what this is at this point is a man, uh, an older man, who's maybe going through a big change in life, um, possibly a divorce. Uh, yeah, I'm thinking this is probably about the divorce. But I think probably he doesn't have a grasp on spirituality either. So anyway, I think this is an older man, father figure, is going through a divorce, and it's kind of his his story, I guess. I don't feel any other people here at the moment, just him. I did look at him specifically, and he had some type of a breakthrough in the past. He is in a completion phase in the present, and he has a lot of stress coming in the future. He is trying to keep himself open and receptive to whatever life brings, whatever life is going to give to him. But he is in a place of, he's in a void. He's in a place where it's called no thingness in Zen, and it's a place where you've kind of come out of where you were, who you were, what you were doing, and you are now in this void, this blackness. There's nothing around you. You have absolutely no idea what to do. You have no idea what direction to go, how to act, to, um, you know, it's kind of, and in his hopes and fears, it shows him thinking that he's just going to take it. He's hoping that he will be able to take just one step at a time. Um, so that actually comes out as the outcome of the reading. But I have a feeling that there's more to it. I asked who about him, about his, who he was, where he is, all that kind of stuff. I didn't ask why he's in the outcome. But I have a feeling, just looking at it from here, uh, it says that in the situation is a lack of leadership, a lack of knowing what to do or where to go, or somebody's trying to call. Get rid of it. Okay. Anyway, a lack, just not knowing what to do, where to go. That is, again, very much like no thingness or nothingness, being in a void. It shows that the challenge is, initially I was thinking it was spirituality, that he did not have a strong spiritual upbringing, possibly. But this also could stand for divorce. So I'm thinking maybe that's what that is. That's divorce. But I also kind of have a feeling that possibly there is a lack of spirituality there too, only because the devil shows up. But it does show up in a healing way, not a negative way. So it shows that this man was in the past just stuck. He had no idea what he wanted to do. He had no idea where he was going. He had no idea. He just had no idea. He was literally stuck. And in his what do you call it? His subconscious um, is talking about not holding on to things, not just letting them go, not trying to. I'm pulling on it just to clarify. It's releasing things. So in the past, there was a transition, there was a moving on, a release, relocation, and then fulfillment, which is basically satisfaction and gratitude and emotional stability. So he's very grounded in himself. There's not hardly any cups out here. So and there's not a lot of a lot of swords either, which is kind of funny because normally somebody who's going through that type of a situation would be quite in their head, which would be swords, or in their heart, or in their emotions, which would be cups. But he has neither. So he's obviously, I mean, at this point, he appears to be a very balanced um, type of person, very calm, very go with the flow kind of person. Um, so, and the subconscious, oh, and then the future subconscious shows that he he has, I don't know, it shows spirituality, but it's a romantic proposal. Um, happy surprise, good news. So in his subconscious, it's like he already has a plan, even though it doesn't seem like there's too much of a plan out here. Um, it looks like currently he's just in this void, and he's kind of in a completion phase. So he's completing and he's in void. So I'm not really sure um, why in his subconscious he is actually um, feeling quite fulfilled. Obviously, the transition that he's going through is not anything, uh, any major thing to him. Uh, it seems very calm, very calm. And this is a King of Wands, too. King of Wands is a very motivated leader, somebody who just goes about things. They get things done. They don't put on a big show, really. I think it's Aries energy. Um, but they're very motivated and they're a doer. They're definitely focused on doing what they need to do or what needs to be done for the group because they are a leader. So, and then in the intention place, which is kind of crazy because I haven't seen an intention like this for quite some time. And this is just obstacles and barriers, but everything's under control. So, whatever this thing is, this transition that they're going through, um, they see that there could be obstacles, but they're not really concerned with them. And then there is the moon, which is in reverse, which means no illusions. And I am going to pull because I have no idea what this is. So this looks like I don't know, maybe not time for a separation? No illusions. Okay, so we've got some clarity. And then we've got perseverance, hard work, assessing rewards, no victory in the near future. And they're resting and taking a break, basically, meditating and relaxing. So they've been through a struggle and they have every intention of just relaxing and doing nothing, because they realize that what they've been through has been very stressful. And then at the same time, we have, I don't know, maybe they're, I don't want to say they're waiting, because the Hanged Man came up in the past. It's not like they're waiting. It's like they're taking a very short break before they begin a project with multiple other people. And they are recovering from something. Recovering, that either they're recovering or what to do. All right, what to do. Yeah, because so far this has been pretty mundane. Pretty, like not typical energy that I've been getting. And it's kind of freaking me out, okay? Because this guy just seems so normal. Just a normal average guy going about his life, going through divorce, changing things up, but he's got it under control. He totally has it under control. So, what is going on? And I'm wondering if maybe he isn't the King of Wands throughout this entire reading. I'm thinking maybe he is a King of Wands in reverse, or was a King of Wands in reverse, and he is cleaning up his act and changing his game plan, and that is his this is his strategy. This is what he plans on doing. What to do? What to do? Yeah, divorce comes up in the future. So I'm thinking this is a separation, not quite a divorce yet. But it shows the devil in reverse, which is recovering from something. It's recovering from, it could be recovering from toxic people. It could be recovering from a bondage situation, where somebody felt like they couldn't move anywhere, they couldn't do anything. It could be that he's getting over addictions. Could be somebody that has realized that his addictions are a big problem and he needs to get a handle on them, and he is working on that and getting control of his addictions. it shows that in the past he was working very hard. Um, he maybe is a craftsman. He has had diligence, high standards, mastery, dedication, and currently uh, his energy is down, as it would be in this type of a situation, and he's got, rest, taking a break, relaxation, and meditation before he goes into another surge of energy or activity in the future. And it does show divorce, shattered dreams, neglect, and disharmony in the past. So the devil could possibly be just, recovering from, because it's a recovery when it's in the reverse, recovering from all the crap that he's been through in this marriage, because it seems like it's been uh, quite the road. But nobody's ever 100% to blame. It takes two people to fight. It takes two people to have a bad relationship. Um, and there's no mention of a female or anybody else in this energy. I mean, the energy, there is nothing comes up. So I'm thinking that is done and over with. Um, so the only thing that makes me think this might be um, an addiction that he's overcoming is in the greatest hopes and fears, he's got weakness. So I'm wondering if maybe he's concerned about falling back into old habits and old patterns, possibly. In the environment, we have death, which is endings and new beginnings. That is like Pluto energy. This is energy where um, the universe basically tears down what isn't working in your life. It's one of those things where you can be in a situation with another person or a relationship or a job or anything like that, and you really hate it, but it pays the bills, or it keeps you company, so you maintain it, and you continue to maintain it, and you continue to maintain it until you you don't even realize that you are literally drowning. You're losing your desire for life by staying in that type of energy. If you are not in it 100% and you're not completely happy and it is not fulfilling in any way, shape, or form, at some point the universe is going to come in and tear it down. Because especially if you're here for a purpose, especially if you have a purpose and that energy is keeping you from that purpose, if that energy is stopping you from being yourself and moving forward and being free in who you are, and then the universe is going to stop it. God is going to step in and say, we are not going to have this. So, that could be kind of what's going on here, because this energy is very matter of fact. There's no big emotion showing. There is a little bit of emotion showing here, but not really. In the environment, it's a little bit of repressed emotion, maybe some blocked intuition, some inner turmoil, maybe a little confusion. We've got that same thing over here. So maybe he's not even in this relationship I don't think he's even in a relationship anymore. I'm thinking possibly he was in a relationship and it ended, and now he's by himself. And he is thinking about what he's gone through and where he's going. Um, but I got to tell you, it's heading in a bad direction. Whatever it is, the what to do and the environment are both heading in a bad direction. Um, they're starting out okay, but then they kind of gradually get worse. And the what to do category ends in divorce, broken home, shattered dreams, neglect, disharmony, which I think he's already there if he isn't already doing it. I mean, if he isn't already, like maybe he's already separated, but he hasn't quite got divorced yet. Um, and then in the environment, it shows lack of commitment, greed, procrastination, immaturity, no goals, being an underachiever. I almost think that is his energy. I don't think that is another person's energy, but maybe. Let's see. Oh, we got two cards. Oh, okay. Is that right? No, this way. So, okay, so, no, this is not his energy. This is obviously the person that he was in a relationship with. Uh, it looks like there is no relationship. And this person, which I'm assuming is his partner, is actually heading for a new relationship. New relationship, love, marriage, birth, compassion, spirituality, creativity, new beginnings. So maybe their partner is leaving them because it shows what to do: ignorance, apathy, regret, nostalgia, stagnation, delusion, disconnection, and remorse. Yeah. So anyway, it shows that the partner, uh, is manifesting something else. They're they have a desire for something more than this relationship was giving them. Uh, and they're actually taking inspired action to make their dreams come true. They um, they're actually letting go and sacrificing because just wasn't working. Whatever it was not working for them. And they decided to literally sacrifice the relationship to live a happy life, to, live out their dreams. Um, this one, that shows no. Their partner might want more money. And that might have something to do with the lack of leadership because this is lack of leadership. It's not knowing what to do or where to go or how to go about doing anything. Um, it's possible, especially considering there's a money situation down here in the subconscious, that is part of the issue, is finances. And yeah, teamwork, collaboration, learning, studying, dedication, quick progress. Like they maybe have a dream and maybe this other person doesn't. Um, anyway, there's not a lot of feeling here, one way or another. There's a lot of hope in the environment for a new beginning in the future. But let me see why the outcome is this King of Wands. I'm thinking maybe he has a Queen of Wands. he has a Queen of Wands. I don't know. It's okay. So the outcome is the King of Wands. The what to do is the Queen of Wands. Maybe that's who he's divorcing. Yeah, that's who he's divorcing. The Queen of Wands is the one that's going. And I'm thinking this is her thinking he's ignorant, having regret, stagnation, delusion, disconnection, and remorse. And she's ready to go. She wants to go and do. She wants to have another relationship. She's ready to get out and meet people and mingle and enjoy life. And the energy that's coming in from the outside is nostalgia, creativity. I mean, seriously, I'm not getting a whole lot of feelings about anything in this reading. Like, I've got a ton of cards out here, and I have almost no cups. Definitely not the important cups. I have the Ace of Cups in the future on the energy that's coming in, which means that this person, I'm assuming it's the Queen of Wands, is looking forward to having new relationships. And yeah, so this King of Wands, the reason that he is in the outcome is because it looks like there may have been infidelity in the past. Possibly his partner or him were having an affair. There was separation, conflict, trust issues. He's currently in this completion energy, which is, withdrawal, sadness, rejection, trust issues again, detachment. So they must have had a third party situation here. Although I don't see any cards for third party with the exception of this, but I know that's not third party. Yeah, and then in the future, it's the same as the intention, which is, taking life in stride, having things under control. But there is some some issues with the long term for this man, which is a lack of faith, despair, disconnection, insecurity, boredom, discouragement, and monotony. So I'm thinking she is ready to jump into a brand new relationship. I'm thinking that I don't know, this energy is very down. Not down like depressing, just like almost nothing there. Very blah type energy. Um, but it appears to be at this point, a very normal separation. I know there's some aspect right now. Um, I can't remember what it was. I was watching the other day something on astrology, and I think it was Mars retrograde maybe, and it was bringing up a lot of issues with relationships, and um, the person that I was watching was saying that they expected quite a few uh, breakups, large amounts of breakups in people around all over because of the Mars retrograde. And it was making like two or three aspects to something else, which indicated that there would be a lot of breakups. And I know there was, at the beginning of the year, there was a lot of people who were separating. And then it kind of went through a period where people were, you know, fighting, struggling back and forth. And then all of a sudden it just kind of got mm, quiet, kind of quiet. Little revenge issues going on here and there. And now it seems to be like a new wave of people breaking up, ending it, finishing what they started. This one may have had some cheating, but it could also be just not a good partnership. They just didn't have a very good partnership, and they're done. And this man is planning on starting new again, and so is she, although he has a little bit more of a pessimistic attitude. He's not being as you know, people get hurt, and if they hold a grudge against the person that hurt them, then they can fall into an energy where they're not going to do anything, and they're not going to pursue anything. They're not going to meet anybody new, especially if they've been hurt. Oh, confirmation burp. Excuse me. Um, and that kind of seems to be what's going on here. Like, this is an older man, older woman, and they're ending their relationship. She seems to be open to new love, new relationships. He is not necessarily. He is, and I don't know if it's because maybe she cheated and he's feeling abused by that cheating, or uh, if something else is going on. But he is a little vengeful, maybe. He's angry that his marriage isn't working out. And instead of being happy and excited about meeting somebody new, and possibly having, met their soulmate, or, some other situation. He's very kind of like in an isolation type energy. And he just needs to, which would be a negative energy, he just needs to turn it around and, um, find some excitement in life. Don't focus so much on the thing that just went bad. Focus more on the thing that could go right in the future. Maybe he will realize with in a very short period of time that this separation was actually the best thing that ever happened to him. But if he stays in a hurt, screw the world, screw her, screw women, that happens a lot too. One woman hurts a guy and he's just like, I'm never dating again. I'm never going. He lumps all women into one category. That's wrong. And women who do that with men is wrong too. But the point is, everything ends. Everything ends. At some point in time, everything ends, including us. We die. Our physical bodies are no longer here. Our spiritual bodies continue on, but in a different way. It is hard to go through a divorce. It is hard to separate from a person. But if you think it's hard and you constantly tell yourself it's hard, then it has no choice but to be hard. You have to change your thinking to, it was an experience. I spent a period of time with this person. I loved them. I got the most out of it that I possibly could. Now it's over and I'm on to bigger and better things. And that is how you deal with change, how you deal with things that have, get excited about the things that are coming in. Start thinking about, dreaming about, imagine how you want things to be. Don't spend your time thinking about how things used to be. Spend your time thinking about the things that you want to be. Create those new things in your life. Okay, so runes. I have no idea what this one is. So we're going to have to do a little looking. I think it probably is an alchemy. Yeah, gotta be. Alchemy, yellowness, illumination, transformation, purification, completion, awakening of the inner self, spiritual and wholeness. That is the symbol for yellowness. Then we have, I think, another alchemy. Yep, pulverize. Letting go of attachments, dissolving limiting beliefs and negative patterns. Well, there you go. Did I just say that or what? And then we have, I think this is a rune, and I think it is a directional rune. Masculinity, justice, leadership, logic, battle to be successful in competition, very motivated, finding the spiritual or transcendental self. So that absolutely fits this masculine's story. And all he needs to do is change his thinking just ever so slightly. instead of focusing on the fact that something is ending, or focus on the fact that something's ending until you don't want to do it anymore. you don't you don't have to force yourself. There is a time to mourn the loss of whatever it is you're losing. That's just normal. But just don't allow yourself to stay there for a long time. If you've already done your crying, if you've already done your your seeking, your thinking, where you look at the things that you did, and you look at things that she did, and you honestly assess yourself. That's more important. What's important is you look at you and what you did to create the situation that you are in right at this moment. How could you have done things better? How could you have been better? How could you have made it better for both parties and not ended up in that situation? That's what healing is about. Healing is about taking responsibility for the shit that you created. you created, not blaming the other person for what they created. Their responsibility is to go into healing and figure out what they did wrong, how they screwed up, how they could have done it better. Blaming, pointing the finger, that is not healing. That is not healing. You need to really be honest with yourself about the whole healing process. Okay, so the wow, Black Moon Astrology card for the day. These are by Susan Shepard. I do have these in the store, and they're ready to ship. And if you go down, click the description below, it'll give you a link. This picture is very cool. It's very involved. You see a goat. You see a duck or a chicken. There's a lot of stuff in this. Anyway, Mercury retrograde, reinvention, 51. And we are actually in Mercury retrograde right now until is it possible that it's almost over? No way. No way. You guys, it seems like Mercury just went retrograde. Didn't it? Doesn't it seem like that? Okay, Mercury is retrograde. Let's see if it's still retrograde. Because I think, yeah, it goes direct on the 15th, and it is fully direct by like the 17th or 18th, depending on what your thing is, what your turnaround time. I mean, there's a shadow period as well, but direct motion happens. Let's put in the 16th and see. The 16th. Mercury is out of retrograde. You guys are almost done with Mercury retrograde. If you can believe that one. The sun is in Sagittarius. The moon is in Cancer on the 16th. Oh my goodness. Let's see where the moon is today. Today's been kind of an odd day. Today's 12/12. So we got the 12/12 portal going. Okay, so today the moon is in Taurus. It is 4 degrees of Taurus. So it just entered Taurus. And I don't see that it's making any major, might be aspecting Pluto, might be aspecting Venus. Eh. Um, there's a couple, no squares, just trines, conjuncts. Yeah, there's no hard aspects to the moon at all today. So, yeah, and Mercury's going to turn direct. Today's the 12th. So, in 3 days, it turns around. And then in 2 more days, it will be direct, 2 to 3 days. And then you have to go through the shadow period. So, what happens is you get Mercury, like, travels along, it hits something like an issue, and then it passes that issue, and then it turns around and it goes back and it hits an issue. I mean, it hits, the end of its direct. So the first time it passes the issue, we'll call it the issue, uh, that is the awareness that there's a problem. Then it turns around and it goes back over the issue. And that is the working through phase. That is where you start, you know, you start questioning and looking at it a little deeper. And then when it turns around and it goes direct and it goes over that Mercury spot again, or that issue spot again, that is the completion of the issue. So this gentleman here who is going through a separation, he might not be going through a separation in a month because it's happening in a Mercury retrograde. So he may go through that working through phase and realize that he was the one that was at fault. And he may go back to his wife and say, I'm an idiot. I blew it. I screwed up. I don't know what I was thinking. I really love you and I really want to try again. She may decide that she doesn't want to get a divorce either. I mean, when you make big decisions during a Mercury retrograde, you can expect them to change. So if you are even if you don't make big decisions. So let's say that they separated before the Mercury retrograde. Now they're going through the working through phase, which is kind of obvious in the reading. And then when it goes back again, it will be the final stage. So at that point, they will either decide, yes, this is a good idea, we should separate, or they'll decide, no, I can't live without you and I want to be with you. And that is how retrogrades work. And there is a point, like if you pay attention to, the exact degree that something happens, if you're watching your chart, you'll see where the touchy point is, and you can actually tell where the issue is going to come up, and you can tell where the work through will be, and you can tell where the final conclusion will be. So there is still hope for these people. They may not get a divorce, but right now it's showing that they are getting one. But again, not the end of the world. Okay, so for the guy who's feeling like crap because he's getting a divorce, it's okay. You will meet somebody new, and you will realize that you learned the lessons you needed to learn in that relationship. It just wasn't meant to be for life. And that's okay too. Mercury retrograde reinvention. Mishaps are like knives that either serve us or cut us as we grasp them by the blade or by the handle. This was James Russell Lowell, and that's pretty much the whole thing I just said in a very short, very nice little quote. Mercury retrograde is regarded as a time when things tend to go wrong. In actuality, it marks a 3.5 week period where any important actions should be postponed. About 3 or 4 times a year, Mercury goes through a motion called retrograde, which means to go back or retreat, which he had in the near future retreat in his in his mind. He was going to relax. But although Mercury, the planet of slippery wit, fluency, and adaptability, this inner planet, so close to the sun, appears to be going backwards. It's not. The retrograde movement of the planet is just an illusion because the Earth is orbiting the sun at a different speed than Mercury and the other planets. Still, from an astrological standpoint or point of view, planets in retrograde motion cause potent effects on the Earth below. No planet goes retrograde as often as Mercury because it is never more than 28 degrees from the sun. And because of this, it has given us the dubious phrase that when something goes awry, many exclaim, Mercury must be retrograde. And I've explained this in Mercury retrograde videos before. Like, I've had friends over the years who just they would have like all these problems, and they would call me and they would be like, I've got all these problems, I don't understand what's going on. And I would say, oh, that's because Mercury is retrograde. And they're like, what is Mercury retrograde? And then I would explain what Mercury retrograde was, and damned if 6 months later they wouldn't call me and say, hey, is Mercury retrograde right now? Because everything's going crazy, everything's wrong, everything's bad. So they learned about Mercury retrograde during a Mercury retrograde. Mercury isn't a predictable planet, a planet going along its normal path anyway. But once it goes retrograde, it's akin to trying to drive a car backwards. All things ruled by Mercury suddenly begin to wobble and go off kilter. However, if you're a writer, when Mercury is retrograde, it's the perfect time to revise your writings. Mercury is the counterpart of Hermes, the Greek Olympian god, the sky trickster, who is not only big on pranks, but also false moves. He is the god of transitions, roads, and boundaries. The very name Hermes has to do with speech and implies he is a translator. Mercury, as Hermes, conveys information. When that information comes to us wrongly because of Mercury's unpredictable retrograde motion, nothing seems to go right. First, when this card comes up in a reading, back up all of your equipment, your computers, your cell phones, and address books, and anything to do with technology or mechanics. Electrical appliances purchased at this time may end up needing to be returned. Any sale items will often turn out to be massive duds. Don't make, I just thought about the fact that everybody's like just done their Christmas shopping, or maybe not everybody's done, but a lot of people have done Christmas shopping, and I'm sure that they probably bought a bunch of sale items. And Mercury has been retrograde since like the beginning of December. So and I also heard the other day, I was in the car, they had the radio on, and I heard they were talking, some news channel was talking about how companies like Walmart, Amazon, all these different companies have just revised their return policies and shortened them up. So if you did buy your gifts during Mercury retrograde and you bought sale items or anything, just know that you're going to have to get on it if you want to get returns, because a lot of these companies are minimizing. I heard there was like one or two that were increasing the time, but most of them were shortening it. Don't make the mistake of purchasing a vehicle at this time either. Oh no. If you are to have your vehicle repaired, expect making another visit to the shop to have something revised or corrected. Yep. How long will this period last? When Mercury retrograde card comes up, give the matter 1 week and then ask the same question after that week. You will want to carefully go over any contract you sign. Don't sign contracts during a Mercury retrograde. And check any email or letter you send. If you are about to leave on a trip, leave early because you must expect unusual delays to occur, and make sure you have clothing for all types of weather because the temperature and conditions are likely to change. Mundane matters aside, retrograde planets are said to be more empathic, and that means that strangely, we are more silently and internally keyed into their energies. This causes unusual and fated meetings to occur and occurrences to happen. You may meet up with someone you haven't seen in years at a most unexpected place. You may have a conversation with someone with whom you only have a superficial relationship with, when suddenly you connect to the person, causing a much deeper rapport. If you are asking about the strengthening of a relationship, this is not a good time to get married, but it is an excellent time to renew your vows. It is not a good time to initiate a divorce or end a relationship. There you go. So these people, they may be headed for divorce today, but next week they could be looking at a completely different story. And that is why you don't want to uh, predict. You don't want to get down in your thoughts. You don't want to be thinking negative, because you'll actually manifest the negative thing that you're thinking about. Be positive no matter what. Always be looking up. Yeah, it's going to be hard. There's going to be sadness. You're going to go through healing, all that good kind of stuff. But the end is not necessarily always the end. It really isn't. And if you're going through divorces don't happen overnight. They take time. Let's see. So it's not a good time to initiate a divorce or end a relationship. Consider how soon Mercury moves forward again, because if you do, the relationship, then the relationship will soon move forward again too. If you are feeling hopeless and worried that the relationship is never going to work, Mercury retrograde card is actually a good one to turn up in a reading. It means there is more than what you know about this situation at the current time, and that the possibility of the relationship getting on its legs and moving ahead is very likely. It is also a fortuitous time to connect with a lover from the past. It is a time to revise, reinvent, and renew. Um, the Mercury retrograde card in brief is glitches, screw ups, missed communications, carelessness, cancellations, misunderstandings, unfavorable time for explaining or solving arguments, eruption of quarrels, mechanical failures, missed flights, faulty computers, difficulties reaching a decision, poor judgment, mistaken purchases, unfavorable time to launch a business. Oh yeah, don't ever start a business on a Mercury retrograde, because oh my. Um, Fixing what is broken, a job accepted not turning out as planned, life slowing down, contemplation, changes and unforeseen changes in schedules, revisions, and reinvention. And the corresponding tarot card is the Two of Swords in like the Rider-Waite deck. And the Two of Swords is about making a decision. It's a decision to be made between two things. It can also be balance, it can also be blocks, you know, stopping. Stopping things. The person has a blindfold on and they've got two swords in their hand and they're up in front of their chest. Key ideas here are blunders, cancellations, unexpected failures, and getting off track. So, even though this man looks like he's getting a divorce and he's really not looking forward to it, he can rest happy in knowing that this happened during Mercury retrograde, and it's possible as soon as Mercury goes direct that everything will be fine and it will clear up. But use this time of Mercury retrograde to contemplate how you can change things, how you can make things better, how you can, things don't just get better, you have to work to make them better. And yeah, work to make them better and wait until Mercury retrograde ends. Love and blessings.